Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Lillie and Coley, and I'm just glad to be here today to talk to you a little bit about responding to Jay-Z's I think it was weekly article regarding my godson, and I guess it was me they were talking about, the caretaker. But I wanted to address a couple things I saw in the article so you can hear it from the horse's mouth. First of all, everybody, this case has been going on since 2000, I want to say 2011. It's been 14 years. 14 years of us pursuing, in the beginning, paternity. And then after that, the damages and all the things that go along with litigating fraud. Let's get that clear, right? There has been no maternity after that. What we're doing right now in California against Mr. Carter, Jay-Z, we are looking for damages, everybody. We're not looking to go back and do any kind of do-over, if you will, of a state court. Let's get that clear, right? This case that we're doing is not about paternity. It is about fraud and fraud upon the court. Get it clear, everybody. And we call it jurisdiction fraud. Let's get to the article. So the article had a couple things in there that was absolutely, we felt, way off the back. And I'll come on again and talk more about this, but I just wanted to get this out now. The first thing is my godson's claims, and I'm not speaking for him, but I know him. It's not fabricated. His mama told him. And Wanda wrote an affidavit. The affidavit's been out there all this time, all these years. Now, all of a sudden, it's fabricated? But at any rate, it's not fabricated, in my opinion, because I know him and I know where he got the allegations from. And then also, the service of Mr. Carter was not June 3rd, everybody. You can go to the court, and I sent out the information, and I think Diddy Docket had also put it out there as well, that the court executed the day we gave them the information regarding the service. It was not returned from the priority mail, it was delivered. There were a couple things that happened after that because we served him 4 times. We served him with a process server, which was unsuccessful. Then we served him with certified mail, which was rejected. And then we did priority. All 3 things were done simultaneously at the same time. And the one that hit was the priority because that was not returned. Let's just keep it real. So all that information as part of the facts and the USPS, U.S. United States Postal Service, etc., is there. So I just want to say what I want to say, right? And then the infant thing about, some sort of prejudice if he does not be able to respond. Obviously, it's the judge's discretion to allow someone to have an extension of time. But let's just get the facts straight on why that was actually happened. Okay. And then the last thing I wanted to address was the fact that I hung the phone up. Yes, I hung the phone up. If an attorney or someone who calls my personal number, which I have out there on the website, and I don't know who these people are, first, I cannot verify you. And second, you're calling from a private number. And in this regard, it appears to me that the person who called wanted to get statues in and keep talking over me, not listening to what I'm saying about I can't talk right now because I had children around me and other things going on, and I have to do it another time. But they didn't care. They want to do what they want to do. So that's why the call was terminated. So I reject the fact I hung the phone up. I terminated the call because I couldn't get a word in. I felt like I was not being respected. And I asked for leeway, so to speak, grace, if you will. So let's talk about it another time. And I didn't feel comfortable the very first time. It was 2 times occasions because I didn't know who the person was. I couldn't verify it. And because this particular law firm is the same law firm that's doing Desiree Perez against her daughter, Reed Smith, everybody. There, we know there's some questions about the credibility and some other things about there. And I'm not saying they are or they're not. I don't really care. She got a job to do, and so do I. But at the end of the day, I wanted to address those things because they don't make any sense. And then also, I don't recall neither me or Wanda or nobody else being in contempt of court for several reasons. Because we didn't do it. First, we didn't do nothing to be in contempt of court. And second, There was no jurisdiction in Jersey. So I don't know how a judge could have put you in contempt of court if no jurisdiction. Just saying, everybody. So it's a couple of things that just didn't make any sense. Ramirez Sadawate's paternity issue has never been adjudicated at any court in the United States. Let's make that clear. Nowhere. It has never been adjudicated. What does that mean? It means that you have to come to court and say what you say about what your allegations are, and then you go and you have an actual adjudication of the paternity of Ramir. That has never happened in any court, just so you know. So no claims have been already tried, and no claims have been rejected in any court. There has been no due process, nowhere. That's the problem, everybody. That's why the judges were pursued, because there was no due process. Mr. Carter was pursued because he participated in this whole arena of jurisdiction, we believe allegation of jurisdiction fraud, and the no due process. Now he can't call the no due process, but he can what you call it, go along with it, his attorney. So there's several parties a part of this whole arena in which we believe in our allegations. We have the judges, we have the attorneys, and we have the client. That's why he's being pursued. And no judge has done anything where you need to go talk to the judge or talk to the court and say, hey, you better stop them from doing stuff. People have a right to pursue damages for things you have done that has not been lawful. That's what's going on. So I just want to say what I'm going to say. I know my godson. I haven't talked to him, but I know he's going to eventually give his statement. But I figured I'd give my statement now. And it is what I just said in a nutshell. You heard it from the horse's mouth. If I hung up on the phone because somebody wasn't listening, you had to terminate the call because of an attorney. They want to say things and try to get stuff on record and record it. Well, I'm recording too, right? To some degree. But if I don't know you, we need to get that part together. And you call from a private number, that cannot be so great, right? So at the end of the day, certain things were just not there. And at the end of the day, I said, like, we did what we did because we believe in justice. We do. We believe in justice. And although we had ran into several judges who we believe were a part of this whole ring, because you cover the cover up. The cover up is worse than the crime. And there was things that happened, so forth and so on. So I noticed that there was not too much traction with the weekly story. I saw it was somebody sent it to me, and there was barely any reviews or posts, so forth and so on. And I think that people were trying to get the information from the court. And the last thing I want to say, and I'll let this thing go because it's really not a big deal to me at all, is that someone had responded and on our behalf for comments. And the comment that or response, I should say, to US Weekly was not correct. They didn't put my comment in at all. I guess I'm assuming I'm the caretaker. I'm just assuming, y'all. Not sure. But at the end of the day, my godson's going to be okay. And I would caution people who want to comfort him because he was told what he was told by his mother. He believes what he believes, and he's a good person. And we're going to stand behind him along with his family. We got some very strong, powerful people, males and females, who love him. And he's going to be fine. And he feels what he wants to feel and do what he wants to do when it comes down to this closure. But he's got some other things he's concerned about too, everybody. But I want you to keep him in your thoughts, keep him in your prayers, and know that whatever we're doing because we believe we've been called to do it. This is not about what they call a dog and pony show. This is the real deal, everybody. This is our lives. And in my opinion, I felt like this was the biggest fraud case of the century. When you hear and see what they did to cover up a simple thing like a paternity test and all the stuff that went to go down that road to show that it was a problem with the jurisdiction and the properties. I mean, people going through night and day and night to not hear the truth or whatever, or embrace it. Or I don't even know what they're doing. It's just weird. So at the end of the day, to go through all of that for 14 years, what? Girl, the stuff that we've been through and seen, that somebody will go through all of that for 14 years is unbelievable. Well, now we know Wanda was underage. We get that. We understand that. And there was a way we could have worked that out to some degree. We didn't even know about, some people said the FBI was a part of, looking into our case and her age and the Mann Act and blah, 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 blah. We don't know all that, right? We know that it started some time ago. And now that the Diddy case took place with this thing, that it went to another level. We do understand that. And we don't have control over that. But that's why it's weird how the thing that you wanted to, the very thing that you feared the most has come upon you, right? But at any rate, I'll come back on live because I know a lot of you had questions about that. And they were also asking me about the paternity, whether or not he would get the paternity, he would get the paternity. The paternity is the underlying case. The case, the instant case, or the case in front of us, so to speak, is dealing with the damages and the fraud that we had to go through to get to the paternity. So when you go to court, there's two layers. There's a pre-trial and then there's a trial. And at the pre-trial, that's when the problem started with, in our belief, with misrepresentation of the facts and the truth. Therefore, when that happened and you're dismissed, if you will, you don't go to the next level, which we believe is the due process of losing your rights to be heard, because what you're presenting to them or the court, etc., is truth. And for whatever reason, the truth is not prevailing. That's a problem. That's a constitutional issue. So in our case here, that's what we believe happened. And it went from one level to the next. Now, Ramir has a totally different case than mine. I started out with the family court case for paternity and child support. Ramir came a year or two later with an inheritance case, which is a whole nother bar, a whole nother case dealing with. But the same playbook that was done with his. And if the courts of New Jersey say, oh, we can't look at it, we don't have jurisdiction, blah, 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 blah. Even when we're giving you some part of the jurisdiction and you still don't want to receive that, that means you don't have any jurisdiction, then guess what? You can't make any decisions about the case, including anything about contempt of court. Contempt of court for what? Are you kidding me? You got to be joking, right? So I know my rights. So at the end of the day, I just wanted to come on to address Mr. Carter's comments in the article of US Weekly, as some of them being really far-fetched, some of them being really embellished, and some of them, in my opinion, were false, untruthful statements, exaggerated, etc. So be careful out there. If I'm really the caretaker, I guess I am. I was called that way back, but he's not a young person no more. And the last thing I'm gonna say while I'm sweating like this, y'all. Oh goodness, there's a lot of sweat here. Let me just wipe my sweat, y'all, because this is the way life is. Okay. The last thing is that Ramir came to live with me. He was still a minor. He was still in high school. He was still a minor. His mother, this is for the record, y'all, his mother did not follow or did not file a paternity case when he was over 18. The mother's first filing of the paternity case was in 2010, and Ramir was about 17 at that time. When she got gravely ill, I took her child before his 18th birthday. He became a legal citizen of New Jersey. He became my legal child, both physically, and I had physical and legal custody of him through a court order. So his mother did not file something in New Jersey, and it was a mistake, and it shouldn't have been. So there's a lot of misinformation. I'll come back another time and go through that. And we have showed receipts, but that's not important right now. The biggest thing is what's going on right now in regard to our rights, so forth and so on. And also the article that came out. So Lillie Coley, Dr. Lillie M. Coley, everybody, from Keeping It Real with Dr. Lil, the godmother and the former legal guardian of Ramir Sadoway, is responding to Sean Corey Carter or Jay-Z's response to Ramir paternity request for 14 years. It's going on for 14 years, about 14 years, everybody. Even though the current thing is not paternity, there was some in the past. And now, year 2025, now we're saying this. It's just not, it's not believable. And I think the American public is smarter than that. So I want everybody to go to sleep on that. Y'all know y'all smart people out there. Y'all some wise folk. And I thank God for you. I thank God for all the support we have and what we're going through right now. So this is Keep It Real with Dr. Lil. Tuning out, thanking God, and all that good stuff. And we'll talk to you soon. I'll come back and do another live presentation and take your questions. I got like 10 questions that came in, and I know it's a lot for people to take in. I know you want to support us. We love that. And we're doing legislation, new legislation around the country. So we've been traveling. There's a lot of stuff going on. For our mayor's over in another place. I'm in another place. So it's been a lot of that going on. Nonetheless, we understand that this is a public case to some degree. The public meeting, we're public, you're public. And we're trying to empower the public with information that brings about revelation. Yes, we are. That's what we're trying to do, everybody. So thank God for all of you, and be encouraged as we talk to you soon. This is Keeping It Real with Dr. Lillie and Coley, and I will be back soon, everybody. Bye. Bye, everybody.